All right, so I guess this video will only be for tech, tech savvy or tech people who use technology. I'll just share my thoughts with you so you can put in your inputs. I have to buy a MacBook Pro. I've been thinking about it for some time. And the reason why I need to buy a MacBook Pro is primarily because I guess if I'm traveling somewhere, I need a machine. You know, my work is the most important thing. If I don't have a machine, I can't work. Now, I was putting it off for some time. I was like, "No, I don't need this now and all that." Until my wife came in yesterday when I was working, and all of a sudden she tells me, "Oh, you know, her grandma is dying and she might have to leave immediately." And she's like, "Can you come? We will go together as a family anyway you want to travel." And I was like, "I can't travel. I don't have a machine. Don't have a MacBook." And she's like, "Can you use your Windows laptop?" I said, "No." So then I was like, "Oh, sheesh. Okay, I need to buy a machine. Because if in case we have to travel emergency or anything, then I'm just, hands and legs are tied. Can't do any work. How will I work? How will I operate?" So I was like, okay, fine. It's high time I purchased a machine. So now the question is, okay, what are the options? They tend to give so many options. First is there was a choice between the Mac Pro versus, Pro or I think M1 Pro versus M1 Max. The first option was that. Obviously, I want the best machine, so I would go for the Max. But I'll tell you what are my usage. My usage is obviously 100 out of 100 times. It's Final Cut Pro. That's number one. Second one is Photoshop. Third one is, obviously, I tend to open browsers. Yesterday, like I just mentally counted how many browsers I opened when I was editing those videos. Around 47 browsers were open. Plus I was listening to music. And plus sometimes I'll listen to the playback of the video. And then, files are transferring, files are rendering. Then on top of that, also, chatting with customers and clients and doing the other work at the background, Word and, So overall, that's what I tend to do. And yes, every day, transfer files from my GoPro and iPhone. So these are the normal usages. Now with my 2019 iMac, I am, as I'm using it, you could say, obviously when all these programs are open, that colorful beach ball. It appears sometimes, especially when I leave the computer on for some time. And especially when you have Final Cut that really, uploads all the previous videos and everything else on when you open the software. Like right now, when I open the Final Cut Pro, it's connected to external hard disk. It's actually taking up 2 TB, what am I saying? 2 terabyte of data. So that's quite a lot. I'm thinking of going in for the M1 Max. That's the first one. The second one is how much RAM. Obviously, if I'm going for the Max, the starting is 32. I thought of going for, should I go for the M1 Pro? But then it starts at 16 and then 32. So I had the option between 32 and 64. If you check the M1 Max, you go to the Apple website, 32 versus 64. Initially, my plan was I will buy the 64. But then when I saw the reviews and I saw the speed, the actual speed is only what, 7 seconds maximum rendering time and all that, and the amount of usage is not more than 20%, so you still have 80% not used. So what's the point of getting 64? So I decided, okay, 32. Storage, I always use external storage. I don't store in my iMac, so 1 terabyte is enough. So as of now, the plan is Final Cut Pro, no, what am I saying? M1 Max, that's the first one. Second one is 16 GB memory. No, 32 GB. Sorry. 32 GB memory, which is the base model. And 1 terabyte, which is again the base model. So, and apart from that, the latest Final Cut Pro. Keyboard and mouse, I'll just buy along with that. So overall, that is the purchase that I'm planning, and I give you my usage. It's Final Cut Pro, it is Photoshop, 50 browsers, listening to music at the background while doing office productivity work, chatting, and the normal stuff, that is maybe Zoom calls and transferring of files up and down. That's it. So also I did ask myself, should I go in for the MacBook Air? It's a nice machine, it's a small machine, but I don't think it can handle very heavy intensive tasks. It can, but it'll be slightly slow, and I think the biggest drawback is it doesn't have a fan. So given in Thailand that sometimes when you go some places there'll not be an AC, like in my wife's family house, they have just fan, so the machine can get really hot, you know, and it's pretty humid. You can buy a fan, but then it doesn't have the same cooling effect of an AC, so it's better to buy a machine with a fan. So yeah, so the MacBook Pro, and between the choice of 14-inch and 16-inch, I prefer a larger display, especially when the timeline you know, a Final Cut Pro, you want to see everything. You don't want a smaller screen. Some people prefer a smaller screen. I don't like a smaller screen. I can't work. It's stressful for the eyes. Even the browsers, no, I increase the font size to 125% or 150%, so reading can be a little easier. I think as you get older, your eyesight, you need to not strain it so much. So anyway, this is what I wanted to tell you. You let me know whether my pick is good. I'll buy it in a day or two, maybe tomorrow. I'll just make sure that all of it is what I want. So do put in your suggestions if you can. Be helpful. Always like to listen to another point of view. I did speak to 2-3 other guys who use it every day. One is a professional photographer, one is a graphic designer. Both said this will take care of your needs, and for the next, if I'm careful, my first machine I used it 7 years. If my calculation proves me right, I take care of this machine, next 10 years I wouldn't need to buy. So it's an investment because I use it every day like my GoPro. So yeah, this is what I thought of sharing with you guys. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Right? You guys take care. That's all.